There are a lot of things in tennis that make you shake your head. Some are funny, some are annoying, and some are just flat out stupid. But today, we're not talking about a rule in the official rulebook. We're talking about something far more bizarre. An unwritten rule, a silent code, a tradition so absurd it recently became the center of controversy at the French Open. Also, quick aside for all you tennis enthusiasts, how about that French Open final? Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, that might have been one of the greatest matches of all time, if not the greatest match at the French Open indefinitely. The level of shot making, the mental toughness, the drama, the final set 10-point breaker, Alcaraz just playing lights out. If you missed it, you have to go watch the replay. It's tennis at its absolute peak, and we are so excited to keep watching the future of tennis. But now, we can forget about that, and let's talk about tennis at its absolute dumbest. It all started with Lorenzo Musetti, the Italian with the beautiful one-hander, who's incredibly talented, and found himself at the center of a bizarre situation. So in case you weren't aware, he accidentally hit a line judge with a ball by kicking it in minor frustration, and somehow didn't get defaulted. The incident wasn't malicious, but it reopened some old wounds that tennis has seen before. And the question that everybody's asking, why is the punishment for hitting someone on court so wildly inconsistent? Andy Rodic had some thoughts, strong ones in fact. He called out the rule for what it is, stupid.
Like the conversation never ends, and it's always kind of a stupid one, right? Like if you do something and it's out of anger and it hits someone and it's not supposed to, either never default anyone or default everyone. Like this middle ground is kind of a dumb thing. It's useless.
And today, we're diving deep into Musetti's moment, into tennis's weird obsession with intent, into the unwritten rules that govern the sport, and ultimately into why some of these codes are long overdue for the trash bin. Before we zero in on this particular controversy, let's take a quick tour through the jungle of tennis rules, especially the ridiculous unwritten ones. Did you know that it's considered bad etiquette to go on your opponent's side of the net, even if it's to retrieve a ball or look at a mark? That's right. Cross that imaginary line and suddenly you're a villain. Or how about this one? If you hit your opponent with a shot, you're expected to raise your hand and silently apologize. Never mind that hitting someone with the ball can be a valid tactical play. Gotta keep the sportsmanship theater alive, right? This even happened recently. Look at Ben Shelton in his most recent doubles match. I love that he called his opponent soft, by the way. And we haven't even mentioned underarm serves yet. They've definitely become more mainstream, but they're still seen as a sneaky or disrespectful, even though they're perfectly legal and a lot of the times strategic. These unwritten rules create a layer of passive aggression, tension on court. They're not in the rule book, but break them and you'll feel it from the crowd, the commentators, and even your peers. And if you don't even know anything about tennis, and you're watching a match, and these unwritten rules occur, you are just gonna be confused and don't even understand what the point of the frustration is. Now let's take a look at the Musetti incident. So here's what happened. During that tense quarterfinal French Open match against Frances Tiafoe, Musetti kicked a tennis ball in frustration. Not very hard, but not very soft, enough to have the ball fly 10 feet and ricochet and hit a line judge. He wasn't aiming at anyone, he wasn't necessarily throwing a tantrum, but the ball did make contact with an official. The crowd gasped. Tiafoe looked confused, and Musetti, he looked like he'd seen a ghost. Now, if you're a tennis fan, your mind might instantaneously jump back to 2020, when Novak got defaulted from the US Open for accidentally hitting a lineswoman in the throat with a ball. Now, these situations are different, but at the same time, they're not that different. Djokovic didn't mean to hurt anyone either, but intent doesn't matter, right? Or does it? Here's where the confusion lies. I mean, at least that's what we were told in 2020. Except this time, at the French Open, Musetti stayed in the match. No disqualification, just a warning. And that inconsistency lit the tennis world on fire. Now, Andy Rodic, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, lit into the decision on his podcast. He said, you can't just have one guy defaulted and another guy get a warning for the same thing. Either disqualify everyone or disqualify no one. The middle ground is dumb. And we think he's right. The problem isn't the punishment, it's the guesswork involved. Is the official hurt? Did the player mean to do it? Was the ball fast enough? Was it frustration or just an accident? The truth is, tennis officials are making judgment calls based on vibes, and that's no way to govern a professional sport. So let's break down the unwritten rule that's really at play here. If you hit someone by accident and they don't get seriously hurt and you look apologetic enough, you're probably fine. It's the nuance of intent. But here's the kicker. It's not really in the rule book. According to actual ITF rules, a player must be defaulted if they physically abuse an official, opponent, spectator, or any other person within the precincts of the tournament site. There's no intent clause, no he didn't mean it exception. But there is nuance with the definition of abuse. Yet time and time again, officials lean on their own discretion. They interpret the rule based on the situation. And the result? I mean, we all know it's pure inconsistency. Musetti kicks a ball and stays in. Novak hits a ball and gets kicked out. Zverev smashes a racket near an umpire's foot and escapes suspension. I mean, where's the line? Shapovalov blasts a ball into the stands, hitting the chair umpire, giving him a black eye. Where's the line? Now, here's why this rule, or rather, this lack of rule clarity, is just so stupid. It creates double standards. If you're a superstar or fan favorite, you might get the benefit of the doubt. If you're not, then good luck. It puts way too much pressure on the officials. They have to read minds and measure intent like they're court psychologists. They're just not trained for that. And it undermines fairness. Fans, players, and coaches are left wondering, what are the rules really? Tennis has enough challenges already. Mental pressure, physical toll, a never-ending calendar. The last thing it needs is an honor system that only works half the time. Hey, if you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly one of the real ones. So do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment, and smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Did you know that only 8% of people who watch these videos are actually subscribed? So join the Hot Take Tennis Squad so you never miss a spicy upload. All right. Let's get back to this nonsense. Let's talk about a few more traditions that are way past their expiration date. The sorry wave, you hit a net cord winner, and suddenly you have to raise your hand like you're in Catholic school. Why? You hit the shot, you earn the point, it's not your fault the net helped. The previous rule of no on-court coaching, at least tennis figured that one out. For decades, players had to pretend they weren't getting advice while everyone knew they were. I mean, hand signals are easy enough. Thankfully, this one's slowly being phased out. But the old school purists fought hard to keep it alive. No midpoint talking, saying anything during a rally like calling out a let, and you're labeled unsportsmanlike. I mean, this isn't golf. It's tennis. The Wimbledon dress code, all white, all the time, even underwear for women. Yes, that used to be a thing. A legacy of Victorian England still haunting us in 2025. So what needs to happen? I mean, here's what we think. It's pretty simple. Tennis needs to write down what the punishment is for hitting someone, accident or not. If it's zero tolerance, fine. If it's case by case, okay, but be clear about it. Intent is way too fuzzy to be the standard. You can't measure it. You can't prove it. And worst of all, it opens the door to bias. If you want it to be case by case, then the line judge should not have to make the decision. If Musetti kicks the ball and it hits an umpire, then boom, it starts the process where an external referee rewatches the footage and makes the decision then and there. So here's our take. It's close to what Rodic said. Pick a lane. Either you default everyone who hits someone, intentional or not, or you always give a warning if it's unintentional. The nuance makes things harder, not better. Because right now, the whole thing feels like a coin flip. The unwritten rules of tennis are like ghosts. They haunt the court, confuse the fans, and put players in impossible situations. And this latest incident with Musetti and the line judge, that's just the latest reminder. And we're gonna have more. So here's the question. Is tennis ready to evolve? Or are we gonna keep pretending that sportsmanship and intent are rules when they're just feelings? Let me know what you think in the comments. Should Musetti have been defaulted? Was Rodic right to call it out? And what's the stupidest unwritten rule in tennis in your opinion? See you next time.